Alright, what's up guys? We're going to be talking about the importance of stagger pressure in Dragon Ball FighterZ today. As you can see, we got Bardock, the king of stagger pressuring himself. And I'm not going to really go into detail on how to do it because there's already so many resources out there. Notably, Sage's video on block strings is a really good video explaining exactly how to stagger pressure. But this video is just going to be about my take or philosophy behind stagger pressuring and why I think it's really important when learning Dragon Ball Fighter. To start off, we're going to talk about how stagger pressuring does what you really want to do in Dragon Ball Fighter. So obviously that is opening up your opponent's defense to inflict a lot of damage and to overall swing the match into favor. So stagger pressuring, if you don't know what it is at all, I describe it as staying on the edge of being able to punish your opponent for mashing, but also on that same fine line, if you mess up, you can end up getting mashed on. So that's kind of how I describe stagger pressuring, even though you shouldn't really get hit if you do it right. Unless your opponent kind of calls it out with something like Reflect or Level 3 or a Spark. But this is something to keep in mind. The next up, we're going to be talking about how stagger pressuring leads to conditioning. And in my opinion, conditioning is one of the most important parts of Dragon Ball FighterZ as a game. Considering the fact this game doesn't really have a lot of mix-ups outside of Bardock B and Kid Buu stuff. So if you don't know what conditioning is, in a Dragon Ball sense, it's basically making your opponent too scared to do an option because they either see that you punished it or they see that you're looking for it. So that's just like two ways that I kind of define conditioning in this game, even though there's a lot more. But for example, Lord Knight made a video about movement in Dragon Ball and like movement patterns. One thing he said, if your opponent is consistently backdashing, he's most likely looking for that super dash so they can 2H it, right? So you see him doing that, and instead of actually, super dashing like he wants you to do, you go up and you hit a button. Now, what this can do is, this will be like, okay, this guy's he's not really willing to super dash freely. So instead of him looking for super dash, he'll look for other options. And then that opens your ability to super dash back up since he's not really focused on it like he was before. So with stagger pressuring, one thing that it can do is it happens on online a lot. When I stagger pressure people, I can sit here and do this and they won't hit a button. I can push them to the corner and get my assist back, and for some reason they just won't. They won't hit a button. The best things that have happened to me online from stagger pressuring is Reflect. I haven't been level 3'd out of stagger pressuring yet online, which is kind of weird. Like when I go against online random people, it's kind of weird because that's, in my opinion, the best option to beat stagger pressuring, but I digress. I don't know if I talked about this already, but I know in Sage's video and other stagger pressuring videos, they talk about how if you stagger pressure correctly, it beats the opponent mashing. People do that a lot. Everybody does that in this game. Not everybody. A lot of people do that in this game, but you know what I mean. If you stagger pressure right, it beats the mash. You know what I mean? So if you do it consistently to people, if they mash and you just stagger pressure them right, that's gonna lead them to believe like, okay, I can't just mash on this guy because he knows what he's doing. So what are they gonna do? They're not gonna mash on your stagger pressures. They're either gonna do a couple of options. Either gonna reflect, you know what I mean? You're gonna go for reflect, so you can either start baiting those after you see one, or they're gonna level 3 you in. Which, if you're stagger pressure and you get level 3, you kind of have to hold that, because that's like the best punish to that like technique. And so stagger pressure kind of leads into the conditioning thing. Where the third thing people would do is just to keep blocking. And I mean, like, you can keep blocking because, you know, this keeps you safe from this happening, you know, you getting 2 in, stuff like that. But I could just, like, if I see that you keep blocking, let's say I go for a mix-up or something, and like you block it and blah blah blah, then what people start doing is they start doing like this, you know what I mean? Start mixing up dragon rushes, wall dragon rushes. They might even start calling you out with some weird shit, or you never know how unpredictable people are in this game. Or, you know, they'll start using 6M or something like that. So all this revolving around stagger pressuring adds to the rock paper scissors and mind game aspect of Dragon Ball, and that's why it's really important to understand it. And if you want to get better, you should definitely implement the strategy into the game. I'm gonna show some examples on the screen, but if you watch almost any high-level player, if it's online or offline against pros, against, you know, people, just randoms online, stagger pressuring, people use it because it's a very, very effective technique in this game. And I think if you really want to get good at this game, you have to hone in on it. Also, look for situations where it's happening to you and determine the best outcome to beat it. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for me. Expect more videos on this game and just the regular funny moment stuff I do. That's it. Thanks guys for watching.